In this video, we're going to talk a little bit today about some reasons why you wouldn't want to come to North Idaho. I've been a real estate agent here in the state of Idaho for about 20 years now. And I want to think that I've heard just about every excuse or reason out there, but maybe I haven't. But as I sat and thought through, I did compile it down to about 5 reasons why people typically would not come to North Idaho or want to come to North Idaho, or in that case, maybe a lot of parts of Idaho. So in this video, we're going to talk a little bit about what I think are the 5 reasons why you would not want to come to North Idaho. Hey, if this is your first time to the channel, then go ahead and subscribe below, tap the bell so you can be notified every time we talk about anything going on here in North Idaho. Hi, my name is Reed Wilson. I'm with Living North Idaho Life. And me and my team, we get calls and texts from people all the time looking to make a move or have questions about what things are going to be like here in North Idaho. Now, typically we just want to talk about the good, but today we're going to talk about the bad. And so stay tuned. We got 5 good reasons why maybe you would not be a good fit for Idaho. And these are not compelling enough to keep you out of Idaho. Then shoot us a call, shoot us a text, give us a call. We'd love to talk to you. And, we want to make your move to Idaho a smooth transition. So feel free to book a Zoom call and or if you've looked at a lot of our other videos and it's raised some questions, or feel free to leave a comment about any of the items that we're going to talk about here today and see if any of that resonates with you or is a concern, and we'd be happy to talk about that, because the last thing you want to do is make a move this direction and find out that it's not the place for you. So first of all, I thought we would start with probably the number 1 concern that we get here in the North Idaho area. So number 1 out of the 5 is going to be the weather. So if you're coming from a place that is sunny and 75 all the time, this may not be the place for you. We get 4 seasons up here. We do have a great summer. We have a so-so fall and spring, and then the winters can be off and on. Let's talk a little bit about our winters, which is typically our December, January's, where you're going to see the coldest. The average temperature is around in that 30s range. But we do get some highs and lows from that. So typically, we do have a week or two where it's down in single digits. Occasionally, it will get below 0. So you have to be prepared with that. And then some of that's going to kind of depend on where in North Idaho you are living. So higher the elevation, the colder it's going to get. Now, one thing most people don't know, they hear north, and so they assume everything's fairly chilly up here. And of course, if you're not from a state that gets snow or cooler temperatures, you might feel like it is very chilly for you. But in this area, we're at 2,300 elevation, so we do not see the cold temperatures that you would say in other areas of Idaho. I actually grew up in southeast Idaho in the Pocatello, Idaho Falls area, and it was not uncommon to be 20 below in the winter, and you learned real quick how to dress for the cold. I lived in Boise for over 15 years and never owned a snow shovel there. So they would get snow that would stick maybe 1 or 2 weeks out of the year, but typically it would snow, turn to rain in the mid-morning, late morning, and then it was gone. So keep those types of things in mind. You get over to southeast Idaho and the elevation start in that mid 4,000 range, and so you get up into 4,500, 5,000 feet, you're going to get a lot of snow and you're going to get some cooler temperatures. But here, like we're saying, we're at 2,300 elevation. We do not typically get a ton of snow, although we do have times to get snow. There are areas up here that do get more snow than others. Coeur d'Alene is not one of those that typically gets a ton of snow, but going just a little bit north, you can get into Hayden, which gets a little bit more. And then as you get into Rathdrum, which a lot of people talk about the snow belt, which comes through Rathdrum, Spirit Lake, Athol, on up towards that Sandpoint area, where they tend to get a lot of snow. Now, you get someplace like Rathdrum that some of those areas are out on the plains, so you do get some wind. So you add some wind with the snow, you get drifting. And so sometimes it can be a little unbearable getting that snow shoveled out of the driveway. I recommend a good snow blower, but there are easy ways to take care of that. But if you love winter months, you know, if you love activities in the winter, snowshoeing, skiing, cross-country skiing, snowmobiling, there's a lot of things to do to keep you busy through the winter, then you would probably find winter enjoyable. We do have a lot of people that are snowbirds here that come for the late spring, summer, early fall, and then head back to the warmer climates. So we do have beautiful seasons here in that part if winter's not your thing. Spring and fall. Spring and fall can vary. Late fall, early spring, you could see some scattered snow. We get a lot of rain. The weather is not the most pleasant. It's hard to predict. In Idaho, you know, it's one of those things, if you don't like the weather, wait a few minutes because it can change. We are in the mountains. Different weather patterns come through all the time, but for the most sake, I don't enjoy the fall and spring here. Now, right now, we're in the late spring and it's beautiful. We have the 70 to mid 80s weather, which is really nice. We got the sun shining, but most people will tell you that summer doesn't really start here in the North Idaho area till about July. Because June, you can have one day that's 60 degrees, the next one that's 85. You just never know. It's hard to predict. So if you're planning a day out on the lake, you're going to want to keep an eye on the weather. Once we get into July, we get pretty consistent weather that's warming up through the middle of July. And then we actually get weather that's over 100 degrees here. Mid-July on up through probably mid to late August. It's not uncommon to have days over 100 degrees. That makes for really nice days out on the lake and warming up in that cool water. September is typically really good till about mid-September, then it starts cooling off. Most people are pulling their boats out by the third, fourth week of September, but occasionally we get an Indian summer that comes back and it warms up for a couple weeks, and so sometimes don't be so quick to get the boat out and to start putting on all your warm gear, because a lot of times it will kind of warm up, makes for some great hiking weather, or if you want to get back out on the lake. These are just a few things now, especially if you're thinking about, hey, I want to live out into some of these areas that are a little farther out of town. You got to remember that winter months, you know, like I said, we're going to get some snow, so you need to plan accordingly with warm gear. You could be stranded out there for some time if you're out on some of these country roads till you get things plowed out. So just be aware. We do have 4 seasons here. That is what most people love about it. The falls are beautiful, beautiful fall days with the trees that changing colors. You get all the different leaves. You get the tamaracks that turn to that golden brown, and it just really is beautiful time up here during that time of the year. So keep those things in mind. If you're looking for sunny and 75 all the time, this is not the place for you. Number 2, let's talk about what I think is the next biggest reason why maybe you would not want to live in North Idaho. Politics. Idaho is a red state. There is no ifs, ands, or buts about it. Most of the people living here in the North Idaho are very conservative. They fly their flags. They sing the national anthem at sporting events. They are very proud of their country. They are very God, family, and country type people. I'm not going to say there's extremists, there probably is, but this is an area more so in Idaho that's more conservative than what you'll find certainly in Boise, and even in areas of southeast Idaho where you do have some mixture of areas down there where politics may differ a little bit based on the proximity of different things going on in the state. So, but just know this area here is very patriotic. Not that people that aren't conservative thinking are not patriotic, but 4th of July is a very big holiday here. They love their parades. There is a certain value system that you may see here that may not be apparent in other areas. Like I said, I grew up in southeast Idaho in Pocatello, and it was a big railroading town, had a lot of unions there, and it did lean more to not, it's not quite as conservative, say, Idaho Falls or Rexburg or some of those areas. Boise, you can find a mixture of whatever you want in that area. You have a good mix of, you get people downtown. You do have certain areas that might be a lot more liberal leaning versus, but you do have, like I said, you've got a mixture of everything there in Boise. So it's not hard to find what you're looking for there. But here in North Idaho, the majority of the feeling here is going to lean conservative. So be aware of that. If that is not your thing, you may not be comfortable in some of the areas here based on your ideology or beliefs. Spokane is another great area if you're not quite leaning as far conservative as others. Spokane does not lean that. It does have a bit of a mixture on the west side, I'm saying the west side of the state versus over in the Seattle area. But Spokane, you can find a bigger mixture. And, Eastern Washington, where you also get a lot of the same type of landscape and weather. So if you're looking for this type of area, but not looking for maybe the same ideology, you might consider Boise or maybe the Spokane area. The third one I get a lot of people talk about are allergies. Like I said, we have 4 seasons here. Winter, allergies not so bad. Spring and fall, probably the worst. Summer will be hit and miss. So we get a lot of pollen in the spring. As things start blooming, as things start growing again, there is going to be a lot of pollen in the air. So be prepared with that. We have a lot of vegetation here in this area. So be prepared to have some allergy issues if that's your problem. Summer, like I said, could be hit and miss depending on what's in season, what's not. The other issue might be in the fall. The fall, we do have the plains out here where they do grow a lot of hay. And so as they start harvesting, cutting that hay, that could create a huge problem for you if you have allergy problems. So just be aware of that. If you have extreme allergies, I would highly recommend taking a trip up here in the spring and fall, see how you react, and see if that's something that's going to be a big issue for you. Number 4, insects and bugs. We have them. We are an outdoor area, especially if we do not get a harsh winter. If we don't get a real cold winter, then the bugs are going to be even worse coming in that next year, that spring and summer. So a lot of times we do hope for that to deep freeze a little bit through the winter so that we can help kill off some of the insects. Mosquitoes, probably the worst up here. We have a lot of water. We're around a lot of lakes. So if you enjoy camping and being around by the river and fishing and doing those types of things, you're going to run into some mosquitoes. And so if you're not one that really likes mosquitoes, you might second guess some of those areas. Now you won't see it as bad in town and within a lot of the towns. I never have any problems with that. But certainly as you get out camping or hiking in some of those areas, you're gonna see some of the effects of that. Spiders, we do have a lot of spiders up here in this area. So if that is something that is a big issue. Now, if you're coming from those areas that are 70 and 70 or sunny and 75, you're probably pretty used to bugs because there typically is a lot of them in those areas. So, because they like that warmer weather. But just be aware that we do have the insects, we do have the creepy crawlies at time, and so if that's not really your thing, then that might be something to second guess. Probably the last one that I hear for this area is the size of this area. We're not a huge population here. So number 5 is going to be the size or the population of the Coeur d'Alene or North Idaho area. Now, Coeur d'Alene, Post Falls, Rathdrum, Hayden, they all are kind of combined right there. And then we see a lot of the outskirts with the Athol, Spirit Lake, moving on up towards the Sandpoint area. Those combine to help add a little more population and whatnot, but you will not get the type of amenities here that maybe you're used to if you're coming from a bigger city. We don't get the concerts here. We don't maybe have the nightlife that maybe you're accustomed to. Those have been big issues there, without offering the entertainment or the arts or some of that stuff that maybe a lot of people are looking for. The other big one is because we're a smaller area, we don't have the jobs that maybe you're going to find in these bigger areas. So, the big companies don't come here and open up shop and offer out a lot of jobs. Now, you can go over into Spokane and they do have a lot more opportunity if you're okay with doing a little commuting. And they have Amazon, they have a lot of these other businesses that allow for people that are looking for jobs. So if you're not coming in with a profession, or you're not established somehow in a career, and you're looking to make a move, you might find it hard to really get into a career here, depending on what your field may be. We do have a lot of construction. There's timber. We get a lot of people coming. It's a destination place. So hospitality, restaurants. But some of that stuff doesn't pay what maybe you're looking for a career. So just keep that in mind. That look over the job opportunities for whatever career you're in. It may or may not offer what you're looking. If you're self-employed and you're wanting to come in and start over, just be aware of the population. Can it sustain whatever your profession is, to help you make the kind of money that you're hoping to make to take care of yourself and your family. So hope this helps out. These were just a few of the reasons that I keep hearing over time. Those were the most common ones. If you've got some other reasons of maybe why you are concerned, if North Idaho is the place for you, feel free. Give me a call, shoot me a text. Let me do some research for you. If there's a concern that maybe we haven't covered, leave us a comment below. Thank you for watching our video. Keep an eye out. We'll be back with more updates here about North Idaho.